It's like wrapping a sunny blanket around you in January. Former Death in Paradise star Chris Marshall explained to Radio Times a couple of years ago when he was quizzed about the continuing ratings success of the laid-back detective show that's just started its 7th year on BBC One. And there's no question about it, Death in Paradise is the BBC's one-hour weekly temporary antidote for sad seasonal affective disorder, airing across what's pretty much guaranteed to be the coldest, wettest part of the year. Its Guadeloupe locations always look as if they've been ripped from the front cover of a holiday brochure, even if, as current star Ardal O'Hanlon recently explained, there may have been scale hurricanes going on outside. Advertisement. Continue reading below. The formula very rarely changes. A group nearly always including at least two very recognizable faces from the ranks of the British acting fraternity enjoying a jolly in the sun arrive on the fictional island of Sainte Marie, a weird mix of British and French culture, thanks to Guadeloupe being French, and one of them dies, horribly. They're usually knocked off in the most Agatha Christie way possible, poisoned, stabbed, electrocuted or otherwise disposed of by a method that leaves it seemingly impossible for any one of the multiple suspects to be responsible, since each has an unshakable alibi. The victim has secrets that either leave them open to blackmail or allow them to put the screws on one, or more, of the rest of the party. But the killer overlooks one thing, and that's all that our intrepid British detective inspector in charge of the island's small police force needs to solve the case. And haven't the Sainte Marie force been really lucky to get not one detective inspector who has that gift, but 3 within 6 years? Death in Paradise has changed its regular cast a lot. Many cop shows have a degree of turnover across their runs. Some, like Taggart, can even survive the death of the actor playing the title role, but few have done so quite as much as this one. Copyright BBC, Red Planet Pictures, Dennis Guy. Non-advertisement. Continue reading below. Danny John Jules Office. Dwayne is the only one of the police officers to still be with the show after 50 episodes. Elizabeth Bourgine and Don Warrington are series regulars as, respectively, the owner of the local bar and mother of one of the original cops and the police commissioner with a Scully-esque denial of his inspector's abilities. Ben Miller's original lead cop, uptight Richard Poole, was replaced by Marshall's Humphrey Goodman, whose first case was investigating Poole's murder, and last year O'Hanlon stepped in mid-series as Jack Mooney. The stalwart local female sergeant has changed to Josephine Joubert's Florence Castle from Sarah Martin's Camille Baudy. Gary Carr's officer Fidel was promoted off the island and replaced by Toby Backer's officer JP. And yet all these changes don't seem to have affected viewers' affections a bit. The ratings average for the last 3 series has been around 9 million, a figure that any serious drama on the BBC would love to get. Copyright BBCA's. With many cop procedurals, there's an element of comfort food about Death in Paradise. You know what you're going to get: the murder, the impossibility, the dogged legwork by the police officers, and then, usually just as it seems the case is uncrackable, the detective inspector sees or hears something that sparks a synapse or two, and he knows who did it. Gathering all the suspects in the best Hercule Poirot tradition, he explains it all. Chances are pretty good that if you're concentrating, you can get there ahead of the team. The way the murders are filmed nearly always contains some important clue, but even if you're half asleep, you're led by the hand through the evidence. It's an update of the old Columbo idea, the detective who thinks laterally and sees things that others don't, and has direct links back to the character of Detective Porfiry in Dostoevsky's Crime and Punishment over 150 years ago. No, honestly, it does. Commenters on The Guardian website a couple of years back summed up Death in Paradise as entertaining escapist stuff with no pretensions to be otherwise in the anti-Happy Valley, and there's definitely a very conscious, lightweight feel to the series. As the New York Times pointed out, skip this if you're looking for a gritty, realistic crime drama. There isn't time for Poole, Goodman, Mooney to dwell on the soul-destroying thought that their job only exists because of man's cruel inhumanity to man. We don't delve into the psyche of the murderer beyond the obvious rationale that comes to light after some sort of quick financial check and/or phone call to contacts in the UK, that would impinge on the scenes on the beach where the CG lizard makes his weekly appearance, or mean that we miss a chance to see Caribbean nightlife at its finest. And would really want that when it's below freezing at home. Death in Paradise airs Thursday nights at 9 p.m. on BBC One. Want up-to-the-minute entertainment and tech news? Just hit like on our Digital Spy Facebook page and follow on our @Digital Spy Twitter account and you're all set.